So, the other point I wanted to address really quick, regarding the posts that I've been posting in regards to sales, and the other one most recently, um, with the prophet Jeremiah and the prophet Ezekiel. Um, and so with sales, it seems to me that, you know, people in church, they care more so about the business of church than the actual ministry, which is supposed to be to help the people, to feed God's sheep. That is the goal. That is the whole agenda of ministry. Now, that's not saying that there aren't people operating authentically through that, but in a lot of different cases, you see, um, people who don't run the church correctly, and it's centered around money, and it's centered around gain, it's centered around selling people a dream that is never going to come. And so we got to pay attention to those things, because as we get closer to the return of Christ, the reason why I reference Jeremiah and Ezekiel, because something that we have to understand is that judgment begins in the house of God. And so God is going to deal with his people, or people who call themselves his people, before he ever goes and deals with the world. And that's something that we have to understand. Um, that's a nice bird. Either way, see, I got distracted by the smallest thing. Um, but there's people who, they make church a business more so than feeding people, feeding sheep. And so we have to be able to discern that, there are people who are obviously not working for God. Um, we have to be able to acknowledge that, during these times, God is going to first come and judge the church. And also based on the prophets that he said he's going to judge the people who have been leading his people. That's including self-proclaimed leaders. And so don't get it twisted that this just pertains to, people who you want to claim as false. Whoever it may be. I don't want to put a name out there so people will think that's the catalyst for false or whatever. Whatever the case may be, we need to understand that God is going to seriously judge his people and judge the people who say that they're working to help his people. One of the reasons why I haven't laid hands is not because I don't believe. I've actually laid hands on my mother before when she was going through some things. I've laid hands on my son. Different scenarios to where I had to act in faith, but I also understand that we're not supposed to do things before a time. There's a time and place for everything. So it's not a lack of faith. It's understanding that there's a process before I get to that point in order to do that. And I'm not going to overstep God in this process, because when I do it, it'd be all glory to him, and I won't be able to take it from him. That's an interesting way he's been orchestrating my life, to the point where I can't take glory from him and nobody else that I'm trying to bring into the situation or my life as a friend, significant other, whether or not it was my father or my mother. You have to understand these people couldn't be used against me, whether or not at either point it was, whether or not it was during COVID, whether or not it was during my trials in my relationship, whether or not it was with the disputes with my father, trying to resolve some childhood things and things like that. And so, we need to understand that God is coming to judge people. He's coming to judge his church first. And so if he's doing that, he's going to judge the people in charge of his church. And that's something we should take serious and have an understanding of in these times. Peace.